You guys know that I love to bring you man-made horror. However, this is something that really genuinely disturbed me, the end of the internet. I grew up with the internet from the time that we had dial-up in a Mac computer. However, things are getting really out of hand, and they've made it all the way to social media, and this is rather concerning, especially considering at least 40% of people get their news from social media. However, we are now in a position where AI is replacing people, and it may be more popular than people, which is a little bit distressing, especially on an algorithm that's based on popularity. Let's talk about it, and perhaps some of the directions that we are going in, and maybe a positive spin. I'll find a way to do it. We are now in this bizarre situation where the internet is starting to be built for AI bots. I mean, AI is taking up a much bigger part of the economy, and they will eventually, and actually already are, becoming responsibility for advertising and making purchases. They are becoming agents who participate in the economy. As a result, companies are moving away from optimizing for people. They need to optimize for artificial intelligence so that they can be found by AI that is now scrolling the internet looking for product and purchased by AI. How dystopian is that? I do wonder what's going to happen with social media, where AI is now advertising products. Is it also going to optimize for AI to purchase it? Because you know what we get then? We get the end of the internet. I am not enjoying watching this, to be honest. There is scientific research on this subject, which I find somewhat entertaining, and yeah, it does seem that AI has overtaken people on the internet. They make up more than half of all web traffic. There is some debate on exactly what counts in what area of the internet, and half of all text, at least, has overtaken human text. It has been funneled through AI in some way, shape, or form, but a lot of social media companies have taken efforts to remove bots from their accounts. However, that doesn't really count for purely AI-generated content. If you are just a person who's operating with, your cell phone and your account and is working with a content farm, that's a little bit different, and it is something that we have yet to address. There is also the issue that all those articles that we had before AI kind of took over, are slowly disappearing. 38% of the internet from 2013 is no longer available, and as we move forward, more and more of it is not available. A lot of that is just web hosting. People don't want to keep those old files up. And some of it is also content, because people who used to make content are leaving, they're deleting their accounts, and that stuff is just disappearing. So over time, as AI becomes more prolific and takes up more and more of the content that we consume, there is less and less real people. Now let me show you something. This picture, do you think it's real or AI generated? Just give it a thought. It is pretty weird. That is a picture I took of my dad's cat the other night. I do not know what was going on with the light, but it was kind of neat. But that is a picture that I took. I showed it to friends, and many of them assumed that it was AI generated. AI does not look solely profoundly weird all the time. It can be incredibly realistic. It has progressed so rapidly. It's not always going to give you an extra arm or an extra finger all the time. We have several generations at play, an older generation who is just not familiar with AI whatsoever, and a younger generation who is becoming familiar with it in a rapidly changing landscape. As a result, people are not able to trust anything they see on the internet. I know that I am scrolling and I see bands, and I have to go check Google to see if it is an AI-generated band or not. Unfortunately, this can put people into a logical trap, where if they see any information that is different from what they believe, they will not accept it. They will say that it is fabricated. And that is, a problem that humans have had for a long time, but also a problem. Feeling distrust of everything we are exposed to may not necessarily be a great idea. Oh, but it gets worse, and I've noticed this for a little while. Wellness influencers in particular, at least that's where it started, you would see somebody who maybe looks a little off, and they would all be giving the exact same script. Yeah, companies have been making AI influencers to sell products, and it is a booming industry. Companies can just take influencers who have made videos who have done well, clone the same script, and put it into one of theirs so that they can get views, maybe even trust from an audience so that they can sell products. Now, just call me crazy, but I think that a generation that is now spending more time online socializing than with their peers, this might not be a great idea to replace people with AI. AI doesn't get depressed, it posts on schedule, and it doesn't have to take time off for its mental health. And if one AI influencer gets in trouble for saying something it shouldn't, well, you can just slap a new face on it. Problem solved, right? That is the attitude that a lot of companies have, including Double Speed. And I have had a lot of offers in my email to clone my likeness to train AI. The answer is no. I mean, one of them had $20. I don't know how much you would have to pay me for that, but not $20. What I think is going to happen is that authenticity is going to become more valuable. Mistakes, little flickers of the green screen, something that tells the viewer that this person is a human being who makes mistakes, is going to be the gold standard. That it's just a guess. I mean, when we developed photography and suddenly you didn't have to make photorealistic art, stuff like abstract art became more popular. Just a guess here. I know I have people who want to say that I am AI, but if I were AI, I would have made myself prettier and my hair would be less of a mess. Anyway, I think we might actually be cooked, and I'm kind of looking forward to everyone going outside again. That sounds kind of nice. Unfortunately, I am a flesh bag. And yes, my fingers bend in strange ways, but that's because I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Unfortunately, I am a person, and I will keep you up to date. Follow for more.